I am not on the stage yet on StreamYard. Hello, happy Friday! And StreamYard is telling me to reconnect my destinations. Amazing. That'll be fun for me to get on top of. How is everyone's week so far? Hold on, we're telling more followers to join your video. Join my video. Just click on it. Just be a team player. Join. Say hi. It's Friday. Yay. Though you know I like a Monday. It is my favorite day, Monday. I just have a ton of energy when I go into Monday. I'm like, yes, let's hit the ground running. Let's do this. I would love to see some faces online. I wanted to propose a few questions to you about why it may be challenging to lose weight, because we can be really quick to jump from one approach to the next. And that is really exhausting. I know that from my own personal experience, having lost 15 kilograms and kept it off, halved my body fat percentage, and now I don't really fluctuate when it comes to my weight. Year round, I'm no more than 1 kilo up or 1 kilogram down from my base weight, I guess you could put it. My body fat percentage would be the same. There would be maybe a 2% fluctuation, depending on the time of month, depending on whether I've just come home from a Christmas period, having visited family. Maybe my eating is a little bit different to usual. My time in the gym is not as intense. I'm not training for as long per session because my focus when I go back home is not on training. It's, of course, on seeing my family. My hometown is Brisbane, by the way. Where are you from? I'd love to know where you are viewing this. Good morning or afternoon. Well, it could be morning where you are, Mana. And thank you for joining us. So before you decide that you're crazy, before you decide there's something wrong with you, before you decide it's a hormonal issue, before you decide that your hormones are against you and that's why you can't lose weight or lose fat, I wanted to propose a few questions to you, which maybe you've not asked yourself before. And this is going to be helpful in unpicking and unpacking why things may not be working out. Because often if we do a little bit of detective work, we can figure it out. Often if we are conscious of the reasons behind our choice of behavior, we can make even more conscious decisions and start to move the needle on our goals. Though, how many of us really understand ourselves? At the end of the day, if you don't have influence over your behavior, you can't lose weight. Just full stop. If you look at the kitchen cupboard and you decide, you don't even register that you've decided to eat something, before you know it, you open the cupboard and you've, decided to just chonk on whatever it is that you're looking to chonk on, safe to say it's probably going to take you a while to lose weight and see what you want to see in the mirror. It's going to take you a bit of time to see that level of leanness and muscle definition. So first and foremost, if you can't influence your own behavior and your own decisions, and if you're not conscious in the decisions that you're making, they just kind of end up happening by themselves, then it's kind of unfair to expect to see a change. So I want to understand, why do you want to lose weight? If that is something that you're working towards, if that is a goal that you currently have or have had for some time, why? Because every other person wants to lose 10 to 20 kilos for the most part, and very few people can actually answer why they want to lose weight in the first place. What is that going to do to your quality of life? How is that going to bring value to your life? Is it going to mean that you have more energy because you're carrying around less weight? Is it going to allow for your clothes to fit better, make it easier to go shopping when you're out and about? Does it mean that you have more wardrobe options when you're looking for clothes? Does it mean that your clothes are not quite so snug? They're a little easier to get into. There's less of a jean jump as you try and get into your jeans. Does it mean that the buttons stay buttoned and are not flying off the front of your blouse? What value does losing weight bring to your life? Is it more quality of life? Is it more quality years with your loved ones? Is it being able to stick around and see your children get married, graduate from university, buy a house, see them travel, uh, do fun adventurous things with them, go paragliding with them, go on cruises with them, I don't know, go skydiving with them? What is the value of losing weight to you? Until you understand the value that is going to potentially bring and add to your life, chances are your reason for losing weight will not be strong enough to actually motivate you to lose weight. So, when we think about creating change, some of us are driven and a lot of us are being dragged. And what do I mean by that? When we think about why we create change, more often than not, it's to avoid discomfort. So if we think about hedonism, um, we're always trying to escape pain. So the pain of having sore knees because we're 10 kilos, 15 kilos, 20 kilos overweight. Speaking from experience, I myself, I was 15 kilos heavier and my joints did get a bit achy. I did get swelling when I would travel. I didn't fit so comfortably into my clothes and noticed that the size continued to go up. I went from an 8 to a 10, from a 10 to a 12, from a small to a medium, or probably from an extra small to a small, from a small to a medium, if I'm being honest. And that was pain. I had a physical condition which also was painful, chronic inflammatory condition in my rib cage. The cartilage that connects your ribs to your sternum on me was chronically inflamed. So it was physically painful, being overweight was painful, but my motivation, I was actually very driven. I did not feel dragged to create change. I was very driven to create change. Finding the right fitness professional and health professional to help me was a challenge. It took a long time to find the right person. Though when I did, I made a ton of progress in a really short space of time, again, because I was driven. Now, a lot of people, unfortunately, need to have a heart attack before they create change, or they need to see a loved one go through something such as heart attack, a serious health condition, uh, before they actually choose to create change. So a lot of us are trying to drag ourselves to make change because we don't have that intrinsic motivation, because our why is not strong enough, because we don't know why we want to lose weight. We know that we probably should, but it's also kind of easy to just stay comfortable. It's just really easy to wake up and do the same thing every single day, to think of yourself as being the same person, to see yourself in the same light, to give yourself the same labels. That is very convenient. And having to work on evolving and shifting that self-perspective and self-identity takes a lot of work, which 99.9% of people are probably not willing to do. Yeah. Maybe 1 in 100, 2 in 100, 3 in 100, maybe 5 in 100, but I wouldn't think many more people than that are proactively working on changing their headspace and mindset to a point that's going to allow them to become the healthiest versions of themselves. And thus, they are the hurdle. So if we know that it is us in most instances, which is keeping us from losing weight, it begs the question, why? Why do you get in your own way when it comes to losing weight? And I can almost guarantee you that most of you have not asked yourself this question. Why, if you are the portal to you losing weight, have you not allowed yourself to lose weight? And this was one pivotal question that I asked a client who I did health coaching with when she used to live in Singapore. She's now moved back to Europe. And it was amazing to see her ask herself this question. And she kept going on about how she couldn't lose weight and how she couldn't keep it off and why this and why. And she was, turning to me for an answer. And my question to her was, why won't you let yourself lose weight? If you are the one who is responsible for losing weight, are you taking that responsibility on yourself? Are you taking it upon yourself to nourish yourself in the best way possible by making, conscious and nourishing health decisions, food choices? Are you prioritizing your sleep? Because we know sleep is heavily interrelated with weight loss and weight gain. So it massively affects leptin and ghrelin, which are our hunger and satiety hormones, massively impacts our insulin sensitivity, which again is really, really important when it comes to losing weight and keeping weight off. You being pivotal in drinking enough water each day, because the lymphatic system, which is responsible for processing toxins and waste products in the body, that is by composition 90% water, and we turn over about 3 liters a night. So are you being responsible for your water intake? Are you being responsible for your daily step count and making sure that you're standing more than you're seated and getting enough steps during the day, enough movement during the day? In how many areas of your health are you being responsible? And in how many areas of your life and health are you just avoiding responsibility, and has it not even occurred to you that you could take responsibility? And sometimes we have to have this pointed out to us. Like, chances are you've just not really thought about, taking more responsibility for these areas of your health. At what point are you responsible for how much alcohol that you drink versus just doing it as a reflex, like a knee-jerk reaction, doing it to keep your friends happy, your colleagues happy, to, not make them feel bad for the fact that they are drinking, which, by the way, was never your fault in the first place. In how many areas of your life are you being responsible for your health? And how many of you are conscious of taking more responsibility? When did it last occur to you that you could probably take more responsibility for your health than what you have? So again, it's just easy to wake up and do the same thing day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And because it's so convenient and so easy, we tend to continue these patterns of behavior. So going back to my question, if you are the portal to your own weight loss and success in losing weight, why are you not letting yourself do that? Now, a lot of people default to extremes. So they'll go all or nothing. And we get good at what we practice. So if you have continued to go all or nothing for the past 12 months, the past 5 years, the past 10 years, the previous 20 years, then guess what? Your default is going to be extremes. And just like a physical muscle, we flex mental muscles too. And we get really good at what we've practiced. So if you're someone who is good at quitting, it's because you've practiced quitting. The funny thing is, you've practiced quitting, so you have actually stuck at quitting. That's the paradox. You've actually become really good at quitting and persistent at quitting because that is what you know to be true about you, because that is the evidence that you have about yourself. So that reiterates to your self-identity that you are a quitter. And the same goes for other labels such as being lazy. If you've thought of yourself as being a lazy person for the past year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, then it just becomes easy to be a victim of your own laziness and to not take responsibility and push yourself to break out of that perspective, or to evolve that perspective, or shift that perspective, which would allow you to lose weight and would be critical in you keeping that weight off. Again, it's just easy to go back to what we think is true. And I'm very deliberate in saying what we think is true, because how do you know what truth is in the first place? This is the importance of questioning your thoughts. So another question I'd like to ask is, when did you last question your thoughts about yourself? You wake up and you see yourself in the mirror and you probably have similar thoughts, and you get to work and you have similar routine, and you get to the same junction, whether it's a tough conversation with a colleague, it's a 9 a.m. meeting on a Monday, and you say the same things or you choose not to say the same things, as in you withhold information. When was the last time you caught yourself thinking a certain way about you and then thought, how do I know that's true? And if it weren't true, what else could it be? I mean, as in, what other truth may exist that you've just never explored? Is that version of truth serving you? So again, if you think of yourself as being a lazy person, someone who is not an athlete, not athletic at all, not into health and fitness, not sporty, not consistent, not able to do anything outside of the black and white extremes of, all or nothing, going completely keto, low carb, no sugar, no desserts, no alcohol, no fun, and 5 boot camps a week, and 3 10-kilometer runs each week, and yoga twice a week. If your perspective of you is that that is the only way that you know how to be healthy, then that's the limiting factor. And so you have to understand where your thoughts and feelings about you are interrupting your progress, because extremes kill dreams. You can't be consistent and be extreme. It does not work, because life is not so predictable that the same approach is going to work in every single set of circumstances. So for example, you could plan to go for a run this morning, and because it's Singapore and it's rainy season, it's almost rainy season, some would say it's already started, you may have the best of intentions to go for a run, and then it may start raining outside. And so suddenly, okay, we're not going for a run outside. And then you may get to the gym and see that all the treadmills are taken. So then what do you do? If you're a person who only operates in extremes and your weight loss and fat loss is predicated on you being able to operate in extremes, then you are actually screwed. Versus someone who knows how to be resilient and resourceful and understands how to navigate these challenges, they'll be able to go, well, it's raining outside, so I don't fancy running in the rain. Maybe it's storming and it's not so safe. Fair enough. You get to the gym, all the treadmills are taken. But if there's a bike, maybe you could stationary cycle for 20 minutes. And maybe you don't love cycling. Maybe cycling for you is not as fun as running. That would be weird. But in any case, if you're a person who knows how to operate between all or nothing, you'll figure out a way to make progress, because you'll tap into resilience, you'll tap into resourcefulness, you'll tap into adaptability. And this is where people actually make progress and they keep results long term, because their success is not predicated on being able to operate in extremes. So again, these people might find a rowing machine, they might find a stationary bike, they might find a cross trainer, they might find a ski ergo, but they will find a way. When your self-identity includes you seeing yourself as being resilient and resourceful and adaptable, then success is suddenly a lot easier. So that can only occur if that's built into how you see you. Again, if you see yourself as being someone who operates in extremes, that is going to become a sticking point. And I see this all the time, where people are all or nothing. They've never had quote unquote success long term because they don't have the skills of adapting their approach when shit hits the fan, as my example with the running. So how good are you at solving problems? How good are you at overcoming your own bullshit? How good are you at seeing through plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Like, how many of you have actually thought that through today? You've gone, this is my workout plan. If workout plan A doesn't happen, my workout plan B is this. If workout plan B doesn't happen, workout plan C is this. If workout plan C doesn't happen, workout D will be this. Unfortunately, life is not so predictable, and the unexpected comes up. The people who have long-term success in losing weight and keeping it off find a way no matter what, and they keep their promises to themselves. So most of you don't need another diet. You don't need another extreme approach to fitness. You don't need a magic pill. What you need is some evidence that you can keep a promise to yourself. Because what is lacking is self-belief. So many adults have little to no self-belief, and it's crushing their progress when it comes to losing weight, building muscle, and keeping fat off. They don't think or believe that they can take out the rubbish at 5 p.m. this evening, let alone get up early to do a workout. If you can't keep a promise to yourself, no matter how big or small the promise, you stand no chance of having long-term success when it comes to weight loss. You have to believe that what your word carries through is true, but most of you see your own bullshit in what you tell yourself. Most of you don't believe what you say is true. Full stop. Most of you don't believe what you say to yourself is true. And the brain knows that. So hence, if you can't win at losing weight, you'll make damn sure that you lose it. That is how the brain works, because you will be looking for evidence of failing and falling short. And I use those words in inverted commas, failing and falling short, as per your definition, not mine. So if you had a friend who was trying to lose weight and they were having trouble, what would you say to them? I think it helps to have a bit of empathy towards ourselves too. If you could do a better job, you would be doing a better job. You don't get better at losing weight by being harder on yourself. And a lot of people think that the portal to losing weight is to be tougher on themselves. You don't need to be tougher on yourselves. You need to learn how to build self-belief by learning how to make and keep a promise to yourself. Again, whether that's with taking the rubbish out, whether that's with filling your water bottle, whether that's getting up early to going for a walk outside, and everything else in between, it really doesn't matter. You need to learn how to make a promise to yourself, keep a promise, and build an evidence bank of instances where you have done that. Because we are all detectives going around with our magnifying glasses, looking for where we fell short on adhering to the word that we kept, or on adhering to the word that we, made. So again, the brain is looking to see, did I keep this promise? Did I not? Now, if we have a big evidence bank of us not keeping our word, it's going to be easier to see failures and shortcomings versus if we say we're going to take the rubbish out and we do. We say we're going to get up early and we do. We say we're going to do the dishes and we do. Now, there comes a point where you just have to take that leap of faith, because we're not always going to have that safety of that evidence bank. We didn't know we could put a human on the moon before we put a human on the moon. Now, we tested it out with animals and we, tested it out rigorously before we got humans involved in that process. But we didn't know for sure that it was going to work out until we did it. And that belief and that hope is what allowed us to do that. You have to do the same when it comes to your health and fitness. You have to be willing to question your thoughts about you. So I don't know if I can go to the gym and do a workout early in the morning, but I'm open to doing that and I'm going to try. That spirit will take you a lot further. If your friend was having similar experiences, chances are you would work hard at being their cheerleader and source of support, not a negative Nelly trying to tear them down. I would hope. But a lot of you think trying to get ahead with your health and fitness requires you to be an absolute asshole towards yourselves, and it doesn't help. We don't need help judging ourselves. We need to have some compassion for ourselves, some empathy for ourselves. We need to not give ourselves more excuses, but yes, understanding the context in which we are trying to create this change. Skills take a long time to build. So what was the last skill that you worked at building? You're going to need more skills in order to lose weight and keep it off. You're going to need more resilience. You're going to need to be more organized. You're going to have to be better at managing how you use your time. And too few people are proactively working in building those skills. So again, it's not just a matter of eat this many calories, burn this much energy, get this number of steps. That is part of it, but that is not a skill. What is the skill required to get more steps in each day? Or skills? Well, you have to have awareness, a lot of awareness. And how many of you are proactive in building awareness? Not many. So again, a lot of this comes down to the 6 inches between your ears? Are you asking yourself the right questions? Because for a lot of you, there's things that you know you could do or quote unquote should do in order to lose weight, but you're not doing it. And so instead we get shiny object syndrome when we look for the next thing to do and the next diet and the next approach to exercise. And that's all well and good, but it's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to get you any tangible progress. It is not going to move the needle, and it's not going to continue to move the needle. Instead, what we want to do is have a real conversation with ourselves and go, what am I not doing that is going to help me lose weight, that could help me lose weight, that I could do today? Start with 1 or 2 things. Maybe it's drinking more water, getting more steps. Maybe it's going to bed earlier, eating more protein. Perhaps it's having a conversation with a friend and going for a walk outside. No answer is correct or incorrect. But again, let's not jump straight to the end of the alphabet. Let's not jump to letter L, M, and O, P when you're in letter B. Again, you don't get better by jumping to extremes. You don't get better by being more of an asshole to yourself or being harder on yourself. You need to meet yourself where you're at and make incremental change so that you can move to the next stage, move to the next stage, move to the next stage. And before you move to the next stage, sustain that. Like genuinely, let that become normal. For me, what is normal is to pre-plan my workouts, my workout outfits every single week. To me, what is normal is drinking 4 to 6 liters of water a day. To me, what is normal is taking my magnesium, taking my zinc, taking creatine. I do meal prep every single week. This is all normal stuff for me, but it's taken time to build that into my routine. It's taken time to build the awareness that I need to do that. It's taken time to go back to these habits, some of which I've broken over the years. I fell out of the habit of taking creatine. Now I'm back in it. I fell out of the routine of doing meal prep. Now I'm back in it. Over 12, 13 years, that's to be expected. But if you look at where I started and where I am now, I have managed to build so many more habits and routines that more or less, this is pretty automated. A lot of this happens without having to think too consciously about it. But again, that's taking me a lot of time. And my current habits and routines, I'm always trying to work on my sleep. That's an area I don't do so well in. I'm trying to get to bed earlier. I'm trying to finish my work earlier in the day. I'm trying to, what am I working on? Mindfulness. I'm trying to meditate more often. That's a great one for me that I could definitely improve on. So these are current things that I'm working on. And even though I've been working on this for 13 years, there's still more room for improvement. I'm still going to try and add and compound all of these marginal gains, because at the end of the day, health is not just how much you sweated and how many calories you consumed. It's social health, it's spiritual health, it's did I just say social health? Holy shit, maybe I should work on my memory. It's social health, it's spiritual health, it's environmental health, it's occupational health. There is so much more to it than calories in, calories out. And again, how many calories your wearable, trackable device tells you that you burned. It's so much more multifaceted than that. And we forget the physiological impact of some of these emotions too. So again, are you letting yourself lose weight and keep it off? Are you defaulting to patterns of behavior which are not serving you, such as going to extremes? If you've always gone to extremes, you'll be good at going to extremes. People are good at defaulting. Defaulting requires no effort whatsoever. So there's nothing great about being a person who just defaults. That tells me you haven't grown as a person. And if you're not growing, then you're not changing. And if you're not changing, you're just remaining stagnant. And if you're remaining stagnant, what do you expect to change? I don't understand that, okay? So chances are you've not moved the needle on your health and fitness because you've had the same patterns of thinking, the same perspective and perception of yourself and of health, and you've had the same meaning of weight loss and your current weight since it became on your radar, since it first appeared on your radar. And what is worth asking yourself is, why is losing weight important to you? What difference is that going to make to your life? How will your life potentially change, improve, be different? What do you get out of that you don't currently have? Because no one is going to declare it a national holiday if you lose weight. No one is going to see that number on the scales and say, hooray, here's a gold medal, let's pop a bottle of champagne and declare it a national holiday. It's not going to happen. No one gives a shit about your weight. And if they do, they're probably not worth having in your life. I don't have anyone in my life who behaved differently towards me when I was 15 kilos heavier. And I've not subsequently lost people in my life because I lost 15 kilos. So my point being is, people ought to be in your life because they give a damn about you, not because you look a certain way, not because you're a certain body fat percentage, not because you can fit into certain clothes and not into others. You know, if you have people of that nature in your life, that might be a sign to cull your friends list. What value does losing weight bring to your life? Why is that important to you? And not just because you want to get to your pre-pregnancy weight. So let's not use that as an excuse. Oh, I just want to get to my pre-baby weight. Why? Why does that matter? I'm not saying that shouldn't be a goal of yours. I'm just saying it doesn't contain enough depth for you to really pursue it. Because again, we are always trying to avoid discomfort of some sorts. We pursue pleasure over pain. So if your why is not strong enough, you will not succeed. Because the moment it's convenient to quit, you will. That is a question you need to ask yourself to really have success long term. And if the pain point is not great enough, or if the intrinsic drive is not great enough, chances are you just continue to go around in circles. Around and around the merry-go-round, round the mulberry bush, you will just continue to go in circles. So if you've done that, and if you yourself are a yo-yo dieter or identify as someone who has tried time and time again, most often it's not a lack of information. It's not a lack of understanding calories. Sure, we'll have room to know more and learn more, myself included. It's usually an application gap. People don't apply themselves and don't continue to apply themselves because continuing to apply yourself gets boring. Continuing to go to the gym 5-6 times a week, continuing to lift weights, continuing to do the same exercises, continuing to eat the same meals, the same macros, that gets boring. And this is a big reason why people are not consistent. Again, it's easier to default. It's easy to go back to what is familiar and what is known. And if you know yourself to be a quitter, then you will make sure that you prove to yourself that you are a quitter. That can change though. If you wanted to, if you are committed to working on your self-awareness, that can change. So again, when was the last time you had a completely new, unique, and original thought, full stop, but then again, more specifically, about you? When did you last proactively build on your self-awareness? How do you do that? There's a few ways. You can do that through journaling, through meditation, through breath work, I like to watch podcasts and then ask myself very similar questions from those podcasts and kind of open those tabs up in my brain. Again, there's no right or wrong way. There's just different ways to practice this, but something worth pondering. If you're not seeing results, and if you know that you are the portal to losing weight and keeping it off, then it begs the question, why aren't you letting yourself? I will leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for joining. I always want to talk about what you want to hear about and what you want to understand. So do leave me questions and suggestions for future topics. And I look forward to seeing you in the next recording. Thanks for watching.